I still remember the exact second my world cracked open. It was a soft click of my father's finger on that mouse. $52,000, vanishing from the screen like breath on glass. And my sister's voice, lazy and certain. We're taking your daughter's college money for my son's wedding. Weddings matter more than degrees anyway. I didn't scream. I didn't even blink. But inside, something died that day. And something else was born. My name's Ethan, 46 years old, Boston born and raised. I've spent 2 decades behind the wheel of a cab, weaving through these same streets, knowing every red light that sticks, every alley that floods when it rains. I'm a single dad to one girl, Lila, 18 now, quiet, brilliant, the kind of kid who fixes the Wi-Fi when it dies and still says sorry if you step on her foot. Her mom walked out when Lila was 3, said motherhood felt like drowning. So it was just us. Me, extra shifts, frozen dinners, and a promise I made the day Lila was born. She would never have to fight for a future the way I did. I started her college fund when she was still in diapers. $20 here, $50 there. Tips from late-night airport runs. Crumpled bills left on the seat by drunk businessmen who'd forgotten their wallets. Every month, no matter what, something went in. When my parents needed help with the roof, I still put money in. When my sister Claire and her husband fell behind on rent, I still put money in. When my nephew Jordan blew through community college and needed one more chance, I still put money in. I thought family meant we all carried each other. I was wrong. You see, Jordan's always been the golden one. Tall, loud laugh. Shows up at my parents' house every Sunday with a 6-pack and a story. My parents light up around him like he's the second coming. Lila? She gets a pat on the head and a don't brag too much, honey. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself when her time came, they'd step up. Then Lila got into Stanford. Early decision. Full ride wasn't enough to cover everything, but with the fund we'd built, she could go without drowning in loans. We celebrated quietly. Just pizza and her favorite terrible sci-fi movie. I carried that acceptance letter in my jacket pocket like it was made of gold. 2 weeks later, my dad called. Meet us at the bank, son. Time to get Lila's future locked down proper. I thought, stupidly, that they were finally going to contribute. Instead, I walked into a glass-walled office and watched my father type in the transfer code while Claire smirked and my mom stared at her shoes. Weddings are forever, Claire said, examining her nails. No one remembers where you went to school 10 years later. My mom murmured, she's so smart, Ethan. She'll figure something out. $52,000. Gone with one click. Half of everything I'd scraped together for 18 years. My hands shook so badly I sat on them. I stood up, calm as winter air, and said, I need to step out and make a call. They didn't even glance up. Why would they? In their minds, the money already belonged to Jordan's open bar and string lights. I walked into the hallway, heart slamming against my ribs, and dialed the only lawyer I knew. Guy named Marco. I'd driven him through a blizzard once. We talked life the whole ride. He slipped me his card and said, anytime, brother. Family rate. I never thought I'd cash it in. Marco, I said when he answered, I think my parents just robbed my daughter. I told him everything. Fussed. Didn't waste time. Go back in. Ask for the manager privately. Say possible fraud. Put me on speaker. I did. Claire rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd fall out. But the manager's face went pale when I said fraud, and he led me to a side room. Marco's voice filled the space. Cool, sharp, unbreakable. That transfer needs to be frozen immediately. Pull the account docs. The manager typed. Frowned. This is a 529 plan. Sole owner. Ethan Harlow. Beneficiary, Lila Harlow. No co-signers. No authorized users except you. Then how? I asked, voice cracking. Did my father just move 52 grand? The manager swallowed. He came in last week. Presented a limited power of attorney. Said you work long hours. Needed help managing finances. I felt the floor drop out. I remember that form. Last year, after a bad accident, I was laid up in the hospital. My dad showed up with a stack of papers. Just in case something happens to you, son. So I can pay bills. I signed without reading. Trusted him. Turns out, in case something happens meant in case we need cash for Jordan's wedding. Marco didn't miss a beat. That POA is revoked effective immediately. Freeze every pending transaction. Flag the profile. I'm sending written revocation within the hour. The manager's fingers flew across the keyboard. Transfer canceled. Fund secure. Just like that, the money was safe. They just didn't know it yet. We spent the rest of the day cleaning house. Revoked the POA. Removed my name from every joint account they'd talked me into for emergencies. Canceled the automatic $700 I'd been sending them every month for years. Locked Lila's fund behind passwords and voice verification. And then, quietly, calmly, we called the seaside venue Claire had booked using a credit card I'd co-signed with my dad a decade ago. $10,000 deposit. Non-refundable. Until it was disputed for unauthorized use. By the time I left Marco's office, Jordan's dream wedding was collapsing, and I still hadn't raised my voice once. The text started immediately. Dad, where's the money? The bank says there's a problem. Mom, your father's having chest pains. Fix this. Claire, you're ruining my son's life. Over school? Seriously? I didn't answer. I drove my night shift in silence, picking up strangers who poured their hearts out while I nodded and said nothing. Got home at 2 a.m. Lila was at the kitchen table under the weak bulb, laptop glowing, studying the Stanford housing portal. She looked up and smiled. Small, tired, hopeful. Dorm assignments come out next week. I sat across from her. Baby, we need to talk. I told her everything. Her face went still. Then her eyes filled. They were going to take my future for a party. Yeah, I whispered. They were. She stared at the floor for a long time. Then, I don't want them in my life anymore. I nodded. Okay. She reached for my hand. Thank you for fighting for me. I almost broke right there. The fallout was brutal. Flying monkeys from every branch of the family tree. Aunt's texting. Your mom's crying nonstop. Cousins calling. Blood is thicker than water, man. Claire told everyone I gambled away the college fund and was blaming my parents to cover it up. Even spread that Lila would never survive at Stanford anyway, a taxi driver's kid among geniuses. But truth has a way of leaking out. One cousin checked the accounts. Another talked to the venue. Slowly, people stopped calling. Some even reached out to apologize. Claire's wedding got downsized to a backyard thing. Jordan still got married. No one from our side showed up, except the people who finally saw clearly. It's been months now. Lila's at Stanford. Thriving. Sent me a photo last week. Her in a lab coat, grinning beside some particle accelerator I can't pronounce. The fund is intact. Growing again. I still drive the cab, but the streets feel different. Lighter. I don't flinch when my parents' old number flashes on my phone. I blocked it long ago. Sometimes I wonder, how do you forgive family who looked at your child's dream and saw only dollar signs? How do you rebuild trust after it's been weaponized against the person you love most? I haven't found the answer yet. Maybe I never will. But if you're watching this, if you've ever been the one giving everything while others take, if you've ever had to choose between family and what's right, tell me in the comments. Would you have forgiven them? Or would you have done exactly what I did? I need to know I'm not alone. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe for more stories.